Turning now to the storm of controversy over President Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Across the Muslim world, large crowds marched against the U.S. today, protesting the president's decision. In the West Bank, Palestinians clashed with Israeli troops, but also there was celebration. In Tel Aviv, the city hall displayed the Israeli and American flags. Eyewitness News reporter N.J. Burkett is in Jerusalem, where emotions are running high.
Israeli media is reporting tonight that a missile was fired from Gaza in the direction of southern Israel. That missile was intercepted by Israeli air defenses. But it is an escalation as protests here become larger and more widespread.
It sounded like a typical call to prayer this morning in Jerusalem. But 2 days after President Trump officially recognized the hotly contested city as Israel's capital, this prayer session was anything but typical. Thousands of Palestinians gathered outside the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. Hundreds of others congregating outside Damascus Gate, the Palestinian entrance to the Old City. The message they all heard: take a stand against President Trump's declaration and that Jerusalem will remain Muslim and Arab.
Palestinians have the right for self-determination, have the right to be free, have the right for liberty. I think that the American nation knows very well what is liberty and freedom is. Trump is far from there and from these values.
Meanwhile, on the cramped, crowded streets of the ancient city, Israeli security forces tried to close shops, scuffling with some merchants. At one point, there was a lot of pushing and shoving as the security guards tried to put up a metal gate to break up the crowds. There were larger flare-ups, however, across the region. At least one Palestinian was killed along the Gaza border fence, and dozens more wounded in clashes in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away at the United Nations, U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley gave a passionate defense of the president's decision.
The United States has not taken a position on boundaries or borders. The specific dimensions of sovereignty over Jerusalem are still to be decided by the Israelis and the Palestinians in negotiations.
The protests have not extended into Israeli neighborhoods. They've been confined so far to sections of the Old City and Palestinian cities on the West Bank and Gaza Strip. But will those protests extend further? That is the question that keeps many Israelis awake at night.